Hi everyone, and welcome to the stream. My name is Lee. Also, if I don't do this, Sig will get mad at me. Okay. And you guys can still see everyone. Good. This is important. This can go away. Okay. Now, as all of you know, we are, my name is Lee. Hopefully you know it by now. I have some friends on the side. If you would like to introduce yourself, maybe, tell the world a little about you and what your plan is, and then we're going to start the game, and that will give me time to do the thing. So, start with top with Devin/Mystery, then Sig, and then at the bottom, Zilax, and just name, character name, what, a little about you. Just a quick spiel.
Hi, I'm Devin. I go by Mystery Cycle on Twitch. Any pronouns are fine. And today I will be playing the role of Magos Jin Kurosawa, aka Cutter, who is a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus. He is the ship's explorator. Or I should say they are, because they go by they, them pronouns.
Yeah, I'm up now.
Yep, you're up.
Hi, my name's Jeff, and I'll be playing a character named Johan Johansson the 45th. He is a mercenary who was hired and has somehow worked his way into a small position of power with a small contingent of soldiers that work under him. And I am basically a 3D artist. You can find me at Patreon.com at Olfheim2254.
I'll put a link to your.
And I'm currently an ice cream truck vendor with Rocky Road being our favorite flavor of the month so far.
Cool. So, Max, you want to say something cool about yourself?
That'd be difficult. So yes, I am Celiax. Nothing much to note about me. Schmuck who lives in southern Minnesota. I'll be playing Finnick. He's a astropath and quite a bit mutated from the looks of this.
Yeah. Oh, note about, let me pull up the Majiggy What's It. We have a lore document. For those of you who are kind of new, we've been creating these characters on stream a lot, and I've then doled them out to friends and cool people to Zezaros. The only thing I have about Fennec is that he's from Zezaros, so other than that, the canon is yours to create.
All right, I guess I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Oh yeah, you have alligators. Alligator killing. Yeah, and things. Basically, the stuff blows up.
Bit of a death world, that.
Oh yes, it's a death world. Yeah. But, yes. 30-foot long tentacled alligators. So yeah.
Oh, are you talking about my backyard?
No, Johan Johansson is from the... Oh no, he's from the planet with the sandworms.
No, I mean me.
Oh, you... I think... Yeah, you're in Florida.
So that's
I think the ones in Florida cap out at 20 feet, if I recall correctly. Although, I haven't been down there in a while, and there might be toxic waste. I don't know. I don't know how.
Considering how things work in Florida, I imagine down on this planet there's at least a few domesticated ones.
Oh, yeah. Tame, from what I've heard, not domesticated yet. Give it another couple generations, and
We've had a few thousand years to work on it.
yeah, exactly. But yes, The party is, as of now, in orbit around a planet called Raoh. Now, you don't know much about Raoh. Let me bring the notes up on it. Other than it is a... it is not livable. It's been terraformed, so it's not livable. No, it's... it has a lot of... yes, it's an administered planet. It's desalination of... it basically exports water to hive worlds. 90% ocean, and it runs the desalination plants. They run on solar power, but the vehicles that use them run on hydrogen, which is pumped from the local gas giant, so that their exhaust is more water, because they need water, they're constantly pulling it off. They also have orbiting habitats that are not on great terms with the planet itself. They have extradition treaties. They're under Imperial control, but there's a lot of ugly bad blood between them, the two groups. The groups in the orbiting habitats and the groups on the planet. Yeah. You received a distress call. Specifically from this planet, essentially. And because there's several massive algae farms. That's the only domestic food source is algae, which is grown on several big vat farms spread out across the ocean. And there's a big main island where there's an administratum headquarters. There is a landing pad that will land flyers, so, you can get down. I will also say that your ship does have an ancient relic aboard. This is why there's both Cutter Kurosawa and a number of other tech priests who are attached to this particular ship. Or a number of explorators. You have an ancient relic aboard your ship. It is a teleportarium from before the Dark Age of technology. Some of you kind of know how it works. The only problem is it only goes one way. That is to say, it goes back to the ship, which is really useful for snagging people emergency back from the ship, not so much for sending people out to anywhere, which puts a damper on its usefulness in all but, emergency situations, or cool theatrics for negotiations sometimes, as a show of mysteriousness and power. But I will tell you have that. Also is handy for if you guys don't manage to figure out what's wrong in one session and we have to do another, it's a good backup plan. But yes, when we last left off, you had received a distress call, an astropathic message specifically for the crew of the Expectus Primus, which was that they wanted the help. They were a small contingent on Raoh, specifically requesting the help of the Expectus Primus to deal with a plague of some sort. So you guys came to figure out what might be going on, because it's weird for a small administratum-run agri-world, essentially. It technically counts as an agri-world, even if their product is water, to ask specifically for the help of a rogue trader. But you have, and you were putting together a list of shuttle participants, a list of, they were trying to put together a list of people you were going to put on a shuttle, except that, Johan, you have a microbead, right?
Yes.
You hear it buzz. Oh, sorry.
I would say I don't have a character sheet, so I don't...
Right. Let me send you the copy that I have of the character Majiggy What's-It. It is... it should have a list of all your equipment. I'll find Johan's sheet, and then I can actually. This one is Janthine. Yep, Janthine was the first. Another. Yes, Zael. Yohanyan's in the. I will. Kurosawa. Yes.
So Cutter, how dangerous is this relic that we have on this ship? We're not gonna get attacked by demons again, are we?
I believe me that it's perfectly safe.
Uh, your
It's a
voice
holy
is.
relic after all, and I believe that we can place our faith in the machine god to see us safely through it.
Are you using a voice effect on?
I was. Is it not coming across clearly?
No, it's coming across really.
Okay, good. Want to make sure it actually worked. I was hoping it
No,
would.
it does sound like a vocal. Majiggy, what's it?
Excellent. As long as I'm actually, you can understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, let me
Fun.
send the truncated character sheet to the Majiggy what's it thingy. Yes. Yes.
And who is this other guy?
Oh, so
Guy?
Finnick, this is what I was going to do. You hear a voice in your ear. That is why.
This
Yes.
through my microbead, or is this
No,
just in
I'm
my
going
mind?
to. You are going to hear the voice in a minute. First, Odette is going to contact Johan, and then she will contact you. But Johan, you hear it. Johan, are you going down to investigate the distress call?
Of course.
All right. Are you not taking an astropath?
Or what?
Astropath?
What's an astropath?
And you can hear Odette just face palming. You can't hear it through the microbead, but you've worked with Odette long enough to know that this kind of pause is just. Sometimes I wonder at you. I'm sending you an astropath. I'm gonna send you with Finnick. Take off one of your people. I'm sending you with Finnick.
Okay, what do I need to know about this guy?
Finnick, he's smart. He's one of the captain's most trusted. He was put on board by her father before any of us. So
Oh man, another smart person? Can't you guys send me guys who can shoot guns and actually hit a target?
I'm sure Finnick has some skill. With actually, how much? He's from a death world. He's got some skill. Do you want me to send him with a gun?
Well, I mean, unless you want me to shoot his gun for him, yes, please. I can't.
All right. I'll
We
make
don't
sure
we
he has a
don't know what we're
lasting pistol
getting
or
into
something.
here, and having our crew members unarmed seems like a great way for them to all end up ex-crew members.
Trust me, Finnick has other methods of defense. Actually, though,
I don't even know what that means.
you can. This
I
one you
actually
can
don't
hear.
either.
That's true. You actually only have. You don't have any of the really flashy bang stuff. Okay. So yeah, you are. So, as an astropath on the ship, you get your own quarters, and I'm guessing you're there, or would you be off doing something else on the ship if you were randomly around a planet just vibing?
Probably just relaxing my quarters, yeah.
All right. So you hear a knocking on the, Finnick
Yeah, door's open.
kind of opens the door, and you can see this, young, one of the crew's, the messengers, probably someone Odette dragged into serving as her personal. She is the arch militant who has taken over running the organizing stuff. And you got a few people up on the ship. You know that, the captain calls you into service occasionally. This is your home. You're a rogue trader, and you've heard that you're around a planet. You're not sure what planet. You weren't down the last time. Apparently, Grelth went badly. Although, getting them to talk about it is, other than basically complaining how the people of Grelth were very, very hard to work with. But, yeah, that was last time. You've gone through the warp. There's a whole kerfuffle with the servitors. They didn't need you for that one. But, you've come out of the warp, and you see this young messenger. You're pretty sure is Ninette, standing at your door. Hi. So, there's a planet. We're here.
Yes.
And the captain, Odette / the captain, they want you to go down with the expedition crew. She had Johan, and they're sending Kurosawa with him, Cutter, the doc one, the doctor, tech priest, down to investigate, mostly, I think, because there's a plague. And they want you to go down with them, relay, do your astropathy stuff.
Do we know anything about this plague? What am I getting myself into?
You could ask the... they're sending not Dr. Keynes, too. She's really nice. She's good at plagues. You could just ask her. Or ask the doctor. Cutter. He's good with... Dr. Kurosawa's good with that kind of stuff. But they don't tell me anything. Just that there was an astropathic message. Jezebel picked it up. That was about the plague. And then she told them and probably forgot to tell you because she's a little... Anyway. They want you going down because you actually, notice things. So, just keep an eye on things.
All right. So, when do we leave?
They're packing the shuttle now. They'll send you back with a few of these, and you get a stack of 4 teleport homers. Now, as a player, you are familiar with these. Basically, yes. It allows a character, at a moment's notice, if things are going sideways, to be pulled up by the teleportarium, and you have... you have 4 teleport homers, and they bring you down to the shuttle bay, and they're indeed packing up organizing and packing up a flyer. They're packing up a flyer with, you see, Dr. Kurosawa, who you can see the picture in the group chat. You see them packing stuff up. You see, who else? Dr. Kurosawa. You see Johan Johansson, who is one of the arch militants, one of the really good with weapons guys, who's a little bit higher up on the captain's retinue. Then Sergeant Verbank, who's, good solid. And a few others. You have... Oh, yes. 2 medtech. You have Andre Colton, medtech. And... Ooh. You got... you got a couple of crew members that you're familiar with. These are... And they all look up at you. Oh! Pinnick, welcome.
Howdy. You almost ready to leave?
Yeah, more or less. We're putting on, and you can see not Dr. Keynes has the, she wears the white lab coat and she's got her packs. I think we're just adjusting shuttle seats. We'll have to take one of the guns off, I think. one of our soldiers kind of looks at the two of them. Which kind of looks,
Well,
which of
apparently
them?
I have a spare blaster on me. I think we figured out that I can only fire one of them, even though I'm dual wielding. So I can give him one of my spare ones since I can't use it anyways.
Well, I believe Finnick has, and if you want, you can also raid the ship's armory. If I meant one of the Hell Gunners, the one of the soldiers who specifically has a Hell gun who's coming with, because you have one chain axe expert. You have Nolan, who is very much on the fire, who also has the last pistol, but mostly just has the flamer and is just flames. You have two you have Sergeant Verbank. You have and then you have two of her guys who are so I'm thinking you have to ditch one of her guys, or either your chain axe guy or your flamer guy, depending on to make seats on the shuttle, essentially.
Yeah, one of her guys.
All right. So you have one fewer.
I mean, what are we going to use those guys for, anyways? What? It's all like,
We'll be removing one of the guys. We'll be removing one of the guys, the Hell Guns.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
That's the plan. So,
Right.
So basically, you've got Cobalt. Yes, I named all of your people. So you've got a you've got a small retinue, and now you have a astropath in case things go sideways and you need to do brain. Although, I believe you can force read people's minds if I remember correctly. So, might be helpful. And yeah, with that small adjustment, you are packed up and ready to go.
Astropath Fennec, I'm pleased that you're able to join us. Your presence with us will greatly increase the diversity of our skill set.
Yes. Thanks. Sure, it'll all go just fine.
All right.
And Johann will go to shake Phoenix's hand. But if you can read his thoughts, he's thinking, man, I hope this mission goes really quickly because I could really use a couple of donuts right now. Man, I'm hungry.
I don't. Oh. Yes, I believe the.
So are you a fancy nobleman like my friend Cutter here, or?
Not so much. Kind of got press ganged into this whole thing.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I mean, you'll love working here. Haven't you already been working here for a while? I guess we just haven't crossed paths recently.
Big ship.
Yeah, it's true. Finnick was probably on since the Expectus Primus was pressed into service by the Helmschull family, which was a number of years ago. Yeah.
Cutter turns to Johann and says,
Fennec is an astropath. He is a psyker that has been trained by the Adeptus Astrotella. He handles our communications over long distances.
He handles what?
Our communications over long distances through the Immaterium.
Excellent.
His psychic abilities allow him to telepathically communicate.
Really? So he can read our minds?
Presumably, yes. I believe your training did cover that, though I expect there are also certain protocols that you are expected to observe.
Hmm. Well,
I mean,
don't you try reading my mind without asking first.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I could, but not unless you actually need me to for something.
Not that any of us have anything to hide, of course. We are all here to serve the Imperium.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get this show in a room, gentlemen. We've got a mission ahead of us that we need to get taken care of. We need to help these people find the cause of this disease.
All right. The only place on the planet that you can land the shuttle is their big main. I believe I have a name for it. The big main capital. It has a flyer landing. It's got the administratum's offices. And when you spoke to the ground control for the flyer port, they said that they hadn't heard of the plague, but they were willing to accept. Of course, you were willing to come down and investigate anything you want because they're rogue traders. But I'm going to say no. Throne's Pride is Central Administratum headquarters, shuttle landing ports, and it's the only city with more than 10,000 people. So it's a lock. The landing is a large rockcrete structure built alongside the island, and there's actually a bridge between the two. It's carved with fleur-de-lis. And it's only 120 years old. It was replaced fairly recently. Only ice at the poles, so it's fairly warm. And then the 17 algae farms. Right. So, you guys, your pilot... I guess I probably should double check that nothing bad happens. Shiny click-clacks, shiny click-clacks.
One of the things that we found anomalous about this request for aid is that our understanding was that having an astropath on this island itself would be unusual. But they specifically sent a request to us for aid, and yet the administratum on the main island, in Throne's Pride, is unaware of this plague's existence entirely. So clearly something unusual is occurring. I hope that you might be able to shed additional light on the subject.
All right. It's not a great landing, but so luckily it's very easy. You do catch a wind and kind of have to do a spin. It's not a very smooth landing, but you do settle yourself into the appointed berth, and you notice that there is a small, nervous-looking tech would be the right word. Not a tech priest by any means, but someone with some skill technologically who's there kind of standing nervously, waiting as you open up the flyer doors and disembark. Excuse me.
Greetings in the name of the Imperium.
Yes, and you can see immediately the Aquila comes up. Please, welcome to our humble planet. I've been assigned as a liaison. Should that prove necessary?
Excellent. I'm certain we will have many questions for you, so please remain nearby for when we need to consult you.
Okay. So far, so good. Okay. The head of the administratum wants to speak with you, the coordinator. She's a direct line to our planetary governor, who is not on the planet at the moment. So, would request an audience obviously, I don't know if you can force. Is requesting an audience.
What time of day is it?
It is roughly, you would say, do I have a day cycle? It's, mid, the sun is mid coming up, so you're guessing morning, locally, from what you can gather. It's about, it was actually noon on your, ship clock, but that wasn't synced up to the local clock, so, best you can guess, early morning.
So we're not past a reasonable time to ask for donuts.
I suppose you could ask.
No, I'm not going to. I'm just, in case the opportunity arises,
No.
I want to know
Assuming
if
that
I'm
they
being
have donuts on this
overstepping your local
planet,
customs.
which is not a given. There are some strange, forsaken corners of the Imperium that have are resource starved. But yes, it would be morning. And oh,
So are either of you two gentlemen familiar with the local habits of this planet? Like, what can we expect for resources for the local populace? If they can have a limited food selection, advanced housing, or anything like that that we need to know about.
actually, if one of you guys wanted to roll a knowledge check,
Yeah, I'm asking you guys questions that I know the answers to. Hey, just testing you guys.
sure. Yeah. You could have. I know Finnick probably didn't get a briefing, but you could ping a message back to ask. You're within range of comms too, for now. So, you could send a message back to ask them to do digging for you, or if any of you had some skill, you could see what you might remember from having learned about Imperium stuff before.
You would think it would be advantageous for them to give us this information before we went on a mission.
That's
Bureaucracy.
yeah.
Insofar as checks, do you have a roller system or?
You have shiny click clacks.
I do. I wasn't sure if that would be.
No, yeah, bust out your own shiny click clacks. I trust you not to cheat.
Roger.
We're on the honor system.
Yes.
They're fancy tungsten dice.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Really fancy shiny click clacks.
D20 is like 4 ounces.
All right. So you said it was a knowledge check. Is this going to be like a common lore or
common lore Imperium if you have it? If not, basic intelligence will work.
I'll go ahead and roll first, then I'll check my scores.
All right.
I got an 87, which is not great.
No. And then guessing you probably have decent.
I got a 78, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking I probably do not know.
Not off the top of your head. No.
Oh.
This is
Here's something funny. I rolled a 37, and my
What?
int is 37.
Hey, what do you know?
So yeah, because you are smart and thought ahead. You actually were like, hang on. You did ask Odette to do some digging for you. What you know is this: the planet you're going on is called Raoh. It's an Administratum 1 planet, agri-world, as much as you can consider water agricultural product, but officially it's an agri-world. There's some pretty solid infrastructure, especially out the islands. there's good infrastructure for a lot of the important technical stuff. For extra civilian stuff, it's meh once you get off the main island. But the main island does have some hallmarks of civilization. A few stores that aren't just imperial, have some, external luxuries of random stuff that gets brought in off world. But that's about the only place you'll find anything like that in terms of available for purchase. Yeah, but in terms of tech, it's fairly standard stuff. Pretty equivalent to what you could get on the ship in terms of access. Yeah, the equipment is doable. Probably like Earth equivalent of mid 2000s. Or, yeah, mid 20-aughts. So, serviceable tech of various sorts.
Well, gentlemen, I just talked to Odette, and apparently she forgot to send you guys your briefing folders, and I scolded her appropriately for that. So I'll have her send those to you so that you guys will be properly informed of the capabilities of the planet. I apologize in advance for her lack of foresight.
Thank you. That will be most helpful.
All right. So.
And Johan is completely pretending that it was Odette's fault. It was his. He forgot to tell her to do that.
I mean,
it's like, oh yeah, I probably should have done that, right?
There was probably just a mix-up. I was a bit of a late addition to the roster, so.
Oh, I guess we have a meeting to attend.
Yes. So you also, because you have briefing folders, you know that the planetary governor is
we have
Lord
briefing folders now.
Right, Lord Kelsar Carbank. The title Lord is self-styled. He is the great-grandson of someone who does have some imperial titleship to another planet. This one was a nepotism placement. He's not incompetent. Not really incompetent, but he was simply given the position because of favors pulled. Comes from a powerful family. The title Lord technically wouldn't apply, but no one's going to stop a planetary governor from taking the title Lord. Really? So, a bit of grandiose is off the planet right now.
I'm going to ask the attendee what is their name? The person who's with us on the planet. So, why exactly is his lordship off the planet, anyways?
It wasn't specified. He received. I mean, they don't tell me these things, but presumably, he leaves the planet.
No, I don't need your guess. I need real information here. Is there a way you can get this information?
You'd have to ask the controller. I know he left 5 days ago. We were part of that team.
I apologize for interrupting, but I think it would be prudent at this point to clarify that we are here on behalf of Lady Captain Jerion Helmutol to evaluate your situation. The quality of the quality of the aid that we may render will depend very much on the quality of the information we are given.
Well, the Captain Helmutol, who a rogue trader, was unexpected. We hadn't expected a rogue trader to render aid. We hadn't had any reports of trouble, honestly. But I know that the captain, his lordship left 5 days ago with our best captain. Who always leaves with him. It throws all the shuttles off because our best flyer always takes the planetary governor because of how that goes. He took the the glory of Saint Selenius. That's
Well, it may be of vital importance to know why the governor left because it may be related to our mission.
well, they don't tell me these things. The controller might know though. The
Well,
coordinator.
then find him and bring us to him, please,
Yeah,
so that
her.
we can get
Yes,
this sorted
I'll
out.
bring you to her. She actually requested an audience, which, she'd requested an audience with you, as such. So,
Well, let's go.
right. So
Our captain's time is valuable. The longer we're on this planet, the less amount of time she's able to make money elsewhere.
right. And yeah, he kind of leads you across this gorgeous rock creek bridge with the fleur de lis, and you can see the town square, as it were, arrayed out. There's the bridge across from the landing platform. There's a customs house. There's the big administratum building, a handful of shops and things. Looks like there's a cafe, honestly. It's probably like the one here. And then the rest of it is just houses, spiraling outward. But yeah. There seems to be like 20 to 30 shops and things that are businesses of some sort, a few road network, nothing fancy, just basics. And then the rest of it is housing for various. And then you notice on the edge there is a boat, a waterborne docking area for water boats. They kind of go across the surface of the ocean. There's one big docking structure that's built out for, you can see these two huge tanker ships. And then on the other side, there's various smaller sundry craft that kind of glom on. But yeah. And
As we are walking along, I will walk alongside Fennec and say to him,
I do not know if it will become relevant or not, but it may be prudent to inform you that currently there is another rogue trader in orbit over the planet. Rogue trader Elmar Genda. He has a history with Our Lady Captain Helmetsole, and in fact, Johan and I have faced mercenaries hired by this rogue trader in combat. So that may prove to be a complication to things that are happening.
Are you anticipating issues with this other one?
I anticipate possibilities, yes. Obviously, it is too early to tell what those complications may be, but it is a variable we need to keep track of.
I'm almost more concerned that the leader here has just received word and bailed 5 days ago to get away from the problem.
It does seem curious.
The ship in orbit is not, as such, a rogue trader. They are a ship that has orders from a rogue trader. Their captain is, let's see, I remember, I wrote this down. Their captain is the, their captain is essentially doesn't have a warrant of trade, but is under the employ of a rogue trader. And you know that rogue traders tend to have larger fleets that they travel with that aren't all directly under their control. Usually the fleet will stay together. Sometimes they'll do what the original Captain Helmshaw did, and kind of designate family members and get them separate warrants of trade, but still be in kind of a connected network of, ships. Which is why your Captain Helmshaw ended up with the Expectus Primus. But yeah, the other rogue traders definitely, who don't have so many kids, tend to, or don't want to split the warrant, because it's a complicated legal process and it does have certain implications. Will simply have other captains in their retinue run secondary ships. Now, sending those ships out is not as good as a warrant of trade, but usually garners some respect. It's just interesting that they are here.
Elowen. Elowen.
Yes. Yeah.
I need you, while we're on our way, I need you to keep an eye on the populace around us, any people we have, to see if they are developing signs of any sort of plague that they might be unaware of. Like they might have complications that they don't realize is attached to something like that.
I mean, that sort of visual markers. Do you know how many? I'll keep an eye out.
Well, I'm just saying they might, like, if there's like if you see people coughing or or having some minor symptoms, that may be the beginning of an onset. So
that's true, but there are numbers of minor illnesses that don't cause public health crises, would have very similar symptoms, especially in the early days. And without knowing exactly what this plague is...
Well, that's why I need... If there's a difference between isolated incidents and a
pattern,
and an outbreak, yes. Right. So I'm just saying, keep an eye out for any patterns. So, because if these guys are unaware of it, it might be because they don't know what to look for. Whereas you would.
All right, I'll keep an eye out. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you guys make your way across, and there's a big square that's in the center, kind of surrounded by this big administratum building. There's a statue of the emperor. Not an interesting depiction, not usual, but enough like the emperor that you're like, okay, this is the emperor. Just an unusual depiction. A handful of big, important-looking shops, and then you can kind of see there are other commercial buildings that kind of trail off into residential, and then the path down to the two docking areas. And there are two guards on the big administratum building. They have Planetary Defense Force-ish uniforms. Nothing you've seen, but they do have Aquila, so you're pretty sure they're, kind of this weird purple uniform. Really weird color, but... and they do have small arms, some sort of solid projectile weapons, kind of slung on shoulder straps. That thing fairly high automatic rate of fire. And then some sort of ceremonial melee weapon, staff thing. It looks like it probably would hurt if they hit you with it, but it seems more ceremonial than actual combat focused.
Can I tell by looking at them through my experience to see how well trained these guys are?
I mean, you do know about training. They are.
You can see the hardness in their eyes, or their how that kind of thing.
They definitely have had training in drill. These guys have had disciplinary training in standing still. They probably, best you could guess. I mean, the way they're handling their weapons seems like they've had training in that too. Mm-hmm. Best you can guess, they probably haven't seen combat.
Right.
They've had a lot of hypothetical training, very little actual experience. Probably not even stimulations. It's probably just accuracy, discipline, that sort of thing. How they'd react in a fight, you're not sure.
Right.
But they probably know some. Like, they could probably shoot you if ordered to. Like, they have the targeting skills to adequately use their weapons, essentially.
Is crime a big thing on this planet? Like on this type of planet? Like,
From what you heard, there's a handful of the usual assault, murder, of, people who just personalized assault and murder. Personal motives, scorned lovers, custody fights, stuff like that. Just people who are,
okay.
the amount you'd expect from this population living in.
But I mean, it's not like a violent.
No,
it's not like
it's
a violent place. Okay.
Yeah, the
what I
violent.
wanted to
It's minor petty theft. Smuggling is a big one, and there are a little bit of extra violence around the smuggling. But
know. I can respect that.
But generally, no. Generally, the kind of crime you have is the personal stuff, which happens in every population of, interpersonal issues that get brought into violence, and then you haul them in front of the judge, and then someone gets a light slap on the wrist sentence, and then they go out, and then they either learn to live with it, or there's repeat offenders every other week over some dumb fist fight, But small town interpersonal violence, nothing from what you gather,
Got it.
anything other than that.
Well, I'll just give whatever the customary nod is, nod to these gentlemen, or as we walk past them.
Yeah, they kind of nod back. They recognize the tech kind of flashes them a badge, and they recognize it as they're not looking too closely, which you would realize is a flaw in several guards, is that if you flash the right ID, they don't look too closely. But which speaks to you that this has never been infiltrated before. This is pretty low. This isn't like crazy high top secret stuff. This is
It's never been infiltrated that they know.
that they know of. Yes.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah. The kind of place that would be easy to socially engineer, because you just have to have a little confidence. But yeah, they lead you in, and you're met by a severe-looking woman who is wearing a business suit, essentially, like a skirt suit, kind of. Everything screams like tight, button all the way to the collar, hair slicked back, not out of place, just perfectly. Looks you up and down, and kind of spins and says, "Come with me." And your liaison kind of looks at you and says, "She's the controller's secretary. Just follow her." And he seems kind of like, you can tell this isn't the first time he's dealt with this particular person. But yeah, you get led to an elevator, and if you're all willing to get in, you go all the way up to the top floor.
All right.
We might finally get some answers.
Yeah. And what you end up in is there's two very large offices, one much larger than the other. There's a split, and you kind of head to the left, and you see a small outer office with actually waiting room with like chairs and a little bit of a couch and a nice table, and then you have through there another one basically right along the outside wall, so all the windows, all of the big important stuff. And you kind of make your way in there, and are greeted by a surprisingly short, maybe 4 feet tall, maybe close to 3.5 feet tall. You kind of look, and then there's no one, and you look down, and you see this, definitely human, definitely an adult, just one of the weird you would know, certain human races are particularly short, probably someone from that group, but otherwise pretty human looking.
Look over at Cutter and like give him an eye, like, what is this?
An abhuman.
Greetings, human. How can we help you?
It's rather
To the
rude
mess-
to address somebody as an abhuman, you know. Just saying.
But
I have a
you
name.
are
It's
a full name or just half of one?
and my name is Coordinator Caroline Evanbright, and I am the second most powerful person on this planet.
Oh,
Actually, she opens her mouth to say something, thinks better of it. We'll go with that. So, I'm presuming you are the rogue traders?
yes. Yes, we are. We represent our captain.
Captain Helmschull. So, there's a second rogue trader ship that's in orbit.
But we don't represent them.
I see.
That'd be silly for us to represent multiple road traders at the same time. That'd be a lot of conflict of interest.
I'm sure. So, the Expectus Primus is your ship?
I want to go with yes.
Okay. And
We're from the ones that have a legitimate captain who's really a rogue trader.
I see. So you have a rogue trader
Not-
on board, as opposed to just a offshoot of the fleet.
Yes.
Indeed, we are direct representatives of Lady Captain Helmschull, who is aboard the Expectus Primus at this time.
I see.
So we are present with our warrant of freight.
All right. Well, I see. And are you also demanding water?
Oh heavens, no. That is not why we're here.
Okay. Then
The others are here just demanding water.
Well, it is kind of what we do. Kind of gestures to the... And you can see if there is vast sprays of ocean and, you know, huge... You can see the tanks that you know, draw the water up, these big, in the distance, these huge tanks filling with water, essentially. It's kind of our thing on this planet. Is water.
It is not our intention to belittle your operation here. It is quite impressive. But we were summoned here under the impression that aid was requested in dealing with a plague.
A plague. Well, whatever it is, it hasn't hit here. I can imagine there's the algae farms out on the... there are a number of them. 17.
Yes. But
From what I gathered, one of them... None of them particularly reported anything drastically problematic, although Neptune did send an aid request. Hang on. It had... Oh, this is why you don't leave these things. Yes. I coordinate. This is not my responsibility usually, but given the circumstances, usually we'd be leading with the Lord Planetary Governor. But... here it is. This is all I know on that. And you have a form. This was filed 2 weeks ago, I think. Quite a while ago, but anything between planets is going to take time, so...
When she mentions that, oh, this is on a form, Johan's gonna look at Finnick and Mila and kind of like sigh, God, another bureaucratic adventure. I hate those. I like the ones people like shoot stuff. I know what
Yeah,
you do
this
then.
doesn't seem like it's going to be very exciting, does it?
No.
So we'll file some paperwork and then get back so you can have your donuts.
Cutter, on the other hand, just looks thrilled. He's like,
Excellent forms.
Yes. Forms. It does, basically the form, it's very simple. It's a name, date, basically interplanetary aid, a request for interplanetary, no, not a request, it's a notice of having requested interplanetary aid from another ship. The listed, now here's an interesting thing. So they have a name of ship contacted, if known, name of organization contacted, and they said the Expectus Primus under Jur and Hemschel. And what's interesting is there's a box for a reason. Why did you request this interplanetary visitor? And they have broad spectral of supply, personal, mechanical supply, personal, or infrastructure, supply, personal, other. They've marked other. And in the box, they have a little box listing reasoning as to why they've requested this ship to come from off planet. There's a little box that says suggested to us. That's all it says. Suggested to us. No, nothing crazy. It just says suggested to us, which means that somebody suggested that they summon you. Presumably. Unless they're lying on the form.
And they couldn't put why they were suggested to us?
I mean, they could have, but they didn't.
Coordinator, if I may inquire, do you retain the services of an astropath on your planet?
An astro, yes, I can fetch one. She's usually, I think she's down with one of the ships, but I can have her brought up if you absolutely need a message sent. There's a few...
it is not so much that we need a message sent as we wish to confer with your astropath to affirm some of our information.
I see. We have the coordinator on the island. We have my personal astropath. We have two others who are other administratum business, and then we have... There's, of course, the others on the island, the algae farms. A handful of them have their own astropaths that, I don't know which one you want to confer with. If it's conference, you'd need the specific astropath in question, yes, not just anyone who can send a message.
Ideally, we do have one in particular we would like to speak to. The one who sent us the request for aid in the first place. And
I look over to Fennec almost like I'm trying to, like looking at Fennec for backup, basically.
Yeah, because you are very obviously, unless you are specifically trying to go incognito.
No, I wouldn't say that. But
Yeah.
I kind of glance back and, I wasn't the one who received the message.
True, it was Jessica
aware.
who received. But yes, another astropath on board. Because redundancies. You're a big ship full of redundancies. But yeah, you. Yeah. But yeah, so because she kind of, as you say, astropath, she kind of looks at Finnick, who's wearing, I'm guessing, the astropathic cloak, the green, the basic green robes.
Along with the flak armor,
Yes.
it would probably fit over top.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah, you can fit the robe over top the armor in case of trouble. But the question is, how much are you going concealing your features?
Most of it probably you wouldn't be able to notice. Like the hood is up, you wouldn't be able to see my ears. Eye color is a bit odd, but yeah,
Yeah.
weird psychic stuff. You could explain that away.
Yeah.
The bit that would probably put people off would be the tail.
Yeah. Are you trying like pushing your tail up, like tucking it as best you can?
Well, it's painful to try to suppress a little bit too much, and it kind of moves reflexively on its own sometimes. So
yeah.
I didn't know you had a tail.
Yeah, you should have led with that. That's something that
I mean-
think we would have noticed.
and I was gonna say, you've all been very kind to me thus far, especially after I see you dealing with this other abhuman. I haven't heard any jokes
Well,
yet. Wow.
I respect the office.
That's true. And also it's
I don't respect any office.
yes. Yeah, the but yes, the
That's how I ended up on a rogue trader ship.
that's true. True. But yes, rogue traders do have license to basically hire anyone with any mutation they want. If you get some of the really like flesh-eating ones, generally you. But Kale is fairly tame, and since you're, traveling with in the ship that has the warrant of trade, you're pretty okay. But
So it's not uncommon on our ship then for there to be these abhumans.
well, abhumans and people with mutations are two different things.
Okay, then the mutations are the thing that.
Like with abhumans, like for example with squats, which are basically like space dwarves.
Yes.
It's the result of like growing up on a zero-G planet, so they're naturally shorter.
Yeah.
Whereas mutation is something much weirder.
Yeah, the squat there's abhumans are just a couple dozen millennium on a planet that's very specific, will have, is enough time to have unique genetic drift. So abhumans are just genetic drift. They there's very stable peculiarities of height or squats were mostly murdered because Games Workshop didn't like there's some meta stuff going on with the squats, but most of them were killed off because
Xenos are hungry.
Yes. Yeah. But they have the ratlings, which is the strain that coordinator Everbright belongs to. They have
Ogren.
Yes,
Right,
Grelth. On Grelth. You guys were dealing with abhumans on Grelth.
Yeah, we saw some of those.
Yes.
He shot at some of them, yeah.
To be fair, the ones you shot at were
Wow.
shooting back. You dealt with a lot of
Yes,
them.
exactly. It wasn't maliciousness on our part.
Yeah, we weren't shooting at them because they were ogres.
Yes.
Oh,
maybe not at
dirty
first.
ogres. Pew, pew, pew.
No, yeah, you had, yes, the Ogrins, half ratlings. You have a few. You have the eye sight ones, and then there are a few other weird on various planets. But
But the main question is it unusual? Like, would we have like an adverse opinion of Phoenix because of this, or would we be like, oh, that's just
Usually,
normal?
Depends on how much you've worked with them before. They're kind of on the bridge. Mutants, there's a lot of anti-mutation sentiment in the Imperium, mostly because mutations that aren't abhuman are 9 times out of 10 caused by excess chaos warp energy, and warp energy is
It's
Bad.
bad.
yes,
That's bad.
yeah.
It's very bad.
So, because mutations are caused by access to the warp, there's a lot more, and you do get things like, port wine stains or other random, markings and mutations that are cleft lips and stuff that you would get in any human population, and those tend to be viewed much more harshly than they would be in our world now, simply because chaos mutations also exist. So yeah.
Yeah. So we're kind of societally trained to see any deviations from normal humanity as, oh, they might be chaos tainted.
Yes. Abhumans are fairly... anyone who deals a lot with interplanetary stuff will have encountered abhumans and have a little bit more understanding of them. And
I'm going to go with that. I have a pretty good understanding of them from my past.
yeah.
That seems likely.
Where
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But
You like more salt of the earth type guys. And
I shouldn't really have any suspicion, at least my way, in regards to the warp. I mean, because clearly I've got no connection to the warp.
None whatsoever. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. But also rogue traders, people with exceptional mutations are generally, depending on how, it's generally considered illegal. The Inquisition canon does murder with impunity. So most planets get ahead of that. However, rogue traders are allowed to have people with mutations because they have the judgment to know, they have the carefully defined judgment as granted by the Emperor himself several dozen generations back, but still, that they are, they're allowed to have people with excessive mutations in their retinue. And astropaths get a little bit of a break, but...
Yeah, because, psychers are, critically important to being able to communicate between ships.
Yes.
Interstellar distances.
Exactly, so you get a little bit more leeway.
3 thumbs up.
Oh, no, they, multiple limbs are... Tail is kind of a gray area, but more of one than of the main ones gets a little more suspicious. But yeah. You, yes, so you would probably have recognized Ratlings as, they do serve as Imperial Guard troops. You've known at least 2 regiments of them that serve as Imperial Guard. Abhuman regiments, a lot of the troops don't like the Abhuman regiments, but the ones they work closely with tend to gain a grudging respect, because after a while you're fighting the Emperor's enemies together, you kind of develop some camaraderie.
You bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not fighting in any regiment, so I don't care about those guys.
That's fair. But yeah, you... but yes, you get... So you know that the one you're going to is Neptune. They requested aid on a suggestion. They have their own astropath, who sent the message out. And
So can we send a message to them?
You could.
Well, why don't we send a message to them saying if they still require our assistance?
Sure. You can... they do have a Vox system you can go through, or you can send... as an astropath, you can send a message out into the warp directed toward that.
Would that be a safe thing to do? Like, can people intercept those kind of messages?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it is very interceptable.
Well, then again, maybe it might. I'm conferring with my 2 compatriots. Maybe it might be better for us to go in person, so as in case they're trying to hide something.
Indeed, there does seem to be some confusion here that could be ascribed to subterfuge.
Let's go do that. Let's go say hi in person.
All right. So,
Thank you for your assistance.
You You don't intend to cause...
We intend to do what it takes to solve whatever problem that we've been requested to.
All right.
We are all servants of the Imperium. Coordinator.
Yes, of course. Greater glory of the Emperor and all that.
Hail Emperor. Don't say it. I mean, whatever it is. The symbol for that.
The Aquila?
Sure, yeah, that.
But yes, you are sent out, and you head down, back down to the lobby, and your liaison's kind of, so the algae farms can't do shuttles or flyers.
So we have to take a boat?
Yes.
We have to do boats.
Well, I'm not going to swim. I'll tell you that.
I
Clearly not an option for me either. Fennec.
yes.
I feel like you would sink.
I believe that would be correct. The remaining flesh on my immortal form would not be sufficient to provide buoyancy.
Right. Come, I can coordinate, with some, we have a ship that we use for maintenance that I believe would hold the entire, retinue of you, that we can use. It's...
Excellent, let's do it.
Okay. Kind of...
Speed over comfort. Let's get it done.
Yeah. Kind of looks at you, looks you up and down, just generally kind of is kind of carefully looking over and simply parks himself next to Johann. But leads you down. So you guys head through town. It's a 15-minute walk, and you head down to the docks, and the you have the dock manager who's coordinating, takes one look at you, looks at all of you, looks at, because Finnick has a tail, but also has the robes of an astropath, so, and then you got a tech priest. You don't see tech priests a lot. You have several soldiers who are openly carrying weapons, and then you have, two medic-y looking, people. Although I guess, Dr. Kurosawa, you would have, some
Nurse
sort
Joy.
of first aid setup, right? Marked as you as a medical, or...
Yeah, I'm sure I must have some kind of decoration that marks me as a medica.
Medicaid, yeah. So you would have
And,
that.
and of course, I also have my servitor skull, Nurse Joy, who
Yes.
presumably has some kind of medical symbology on her.
I see.
Please tell me you've got like mechadendrites with bone saws and all kinds of needles and things.
I've got, let me see, look at my list of cybernetics here.
Most of the cybernetics are the
Plants.
basic ones.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, like, the electrograph, the electroinductors,
Yeah.
cyber mantle. So I think I have like an extra mechanical arm. I presumably have, I think my extra arm does have like injectors in it for drug injectors.
I love it.
Yeah. All that fun stuff.
Yes.
Hold still, this will only hurt for a second.
Yeah. But yes. And Nurse Joy is bobbing along.
Suffering is part of life.
Yep. And Nurse Joy is bobbing along behind you, which, I mean, they have servo skulls. They're fairly common throughout the Imperium.
Right.
But see Tech Priest looking just a rogue trader, essentially a couple members of a rogue trader crew are, they kind of look at you and like, and kind of looks, look, they're interplanetary bigwigs. We need the boat. I have the keys. Can we get a docking? Yeah, go. And he's just like staring at you wide-eyed. And just...
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal.
Yeah. And you can see a lot of people kind of tying off boats, but leads you up to one particularly large maintenance boat. The Norgine.
So how long is this journey going to take?
Well, an hour at most. Got the fuel gauge. Yep, we're good. Okay. Usually we don't take her out this far.
Do you at least have snacks or beverages to help us pass the time? Your hesitancy makes me assume no.
We have.
And Johan just shakes his head again, like, what is going on this planet?
I mean, to be fair, you could have stopped it. There were places you could have stopped and gotten.
Yeah, but that's me bringing my own stuff. You don't. You're not expected to bring your own snacks when you go somewhere.
I'm certain that if Lord Harbank were here present, he would have provided perhaps a suitable retinue to provide us with refreshments.
There's a water pump that if you want water, and
Yay!
There you are, Johan. There's a water pump.
Yeah, but it is like a little faucet that you can get fresh drinking water, and they do have. He does provide you with a box of they're ration bars. They're not even like Soylent Viridian. They're the good stuff.
Oh,
Excellent. This will be more than sufficient for my needs. Thank you.
All right. They're yeah, they have all sorts of fun sounding flavors like sunset orange and purple haze. And
I will take whatever the rest of you do not want. Flavor is irrelevant to me.
yeah,
I require only the nutrients.
yes, they're all named after colors. So
Ooh, can I have a blue one?
yeah, kind of blue one. Tastes vaguely like it was supposed to be berry flavored, maybe. Definitely very salty.
Salty berries.
Yeah.
It was packaged in a plant that was like next door to something that had fruit.
Something like that, yeah.
The aroma wafted over it briefly.
Yes.
As it was being manufactured.
Yeah, it's got blue food coloring, algae, compressed algae, and drops of something that's supposed to taste like berry, kind of general direction of, yeah. It's not
You
bad.
see, Johan, they have spared no expense.
Yeah, but yes, you guys have ration bars and water, and you're kind of chugging along. The pink ones are the best, I think. Personally. Although the purple ones are kind of good. Alright, try the boat.
Just enjoying imagining Johan.
yeah, no, he's just like, don't yell at them. Don't yell at him.
I will agree, though. It does taste like blue.
Yeah. See?
How fascinating.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys, the waves aren't too bad. You kind of go out on the water, and eventually you do reach there's the big tank right in the middle, and then you see this like framework around it, and there's just algae just growing off of this frame, just green, slimy green goop, and there's the entire big there's the kind of a tank. You kind of see the tank in the middle, but there's this big slimy green goop, and then you can kind of see along the bottom there's some sort of plasteel or something archway, almost, with a little bit of a dock extended out. And there's a handful of boats, and you also see that there are soldiers on the edge with weapons, which is unusual. From actually the planet briefing, is a planetary defense force / law keeping, that do kind of on Throne's Pride have a base, and they have boats that allow them to go anywhere on the island as needed. And there's usually a few on each of the big water tanks, but none on the algae farms, except where there are, apparently. They're not making any move to shoot down the boats, but they do have las guns. Whereas you know that the planetary defense, at least the ones you saw in the capital, were having solid projectile weapons. These are las guns, and they are...
Do these guys look like they might be related to the rogue trader ship, the other rogue trader ship?
Possibly.
Do they have any identifiable markings, symbols?
Not that you can see from this distance. They're plain blue uniform-esque clothes. Like, this is very clearly, I think BDU is the technical term.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, combat designed slacks, but no, uniform meat.
Nick, are you able to ascertain who these guys are working for from this distance, or at all? I don't know the extent of your abilities.
Interesting question.
I have to get a fair bit closer to probe, although I might be able to tell if they have any psychers among them, but that's about all I could say.
Yes, you can roll a Psynescence check if you want.
Oh, that would be helpful to know.
I apologize ahead of time, Genex, if I provide any emotional distractions from your senses. I am finding being aboard this water vessel precarious and disturbing.
Miss Jordan just kind of... She seems to be doing okay. Although it is kind of weird for her to keep the inertial...
Easy for you to say you could fly.
But yeah. You, your liaison kind of glances...
So what's with all the security?
I don't know.
Is that normal?
I don't know. This is not good.
Okay, at this point, I glance at Johan with sort of a meaningful look.
Yeah, as we're coming up, I would like to scan the Psyniscience, see if I detect any warp sensitivity out of these guys.
Roll a Psyniscence check, which is a D...
Perception.
Yes, it's perception-based, D100.
And I believe, do I get the bonus for my Psi focus
Yes.
for that? Okay.
Yeah.
32. I didn't even need the Psi focus.
Okay, yes, you get... Yeah, what is your Psi focus, out of curiosity? Yeah.
That is a good question.
'Cause
I would need a moment to think on that. I wouldn't be able to.
all right, something to consider. But yeah, you... there is one other psyker. Up, you can kind of see that they're probably up in the tank, the top of the tank. And you kind of see some on the outside of the tank. You can see there are sort of buildings kind of bolted onto the outside in a framework, and probably in one of those buildings is another psyker. But
Okay. I will relay as much. They've got a couple of psychers, actually. Both in that direction here and there.
yeah,
That
there's
strikes
only
me as
one
unusual.
up in Sorry, there's only one.
Oh, there's just one. Okay.
You can lie and say there are two, but there is. I'm telling you.
No, I'm not trying to confuse my own teammates.
No, there is one. Is up in the top. They're up in the top belfry of just the one. Bolted on the outside of the tank.
They bolted the psyker.
Well, I mean, they bolted the buildings onto the tank. Psyker
Okay, I was
may or
like,
may not
what?
have bolts. You don't know?
Oh, that sounds painful.
No,
That's like a really odd way to do a crucifixion, I will say.
Now, to our knowledge, would possession of a psyker on their side be unusual? Because I know, of course, we have the astropaths.
Yeah, you would know that this is one of the ones that did have an astropath. So, and there's only one, which suggests that if there were an astropath here before, it's just the one. So either they had an astropath, their own astropath was killed and replaced, or just the same one. But yeah, one astropath, several of let's see which ones have the Hamish Raoh. It's the Bernadette Balboa. That's where Raoh. Yes. Golf. No, it's golf cart. Yes. So the Terra, Mars, Mercury, Pluto, Neptune, and Venus. Pluto, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn all have astropaths. Whereas,
And we're heading to Neptune, right?
yes, that's the one that you, yeah. But the Luna, Titan, Io, Enceladus, Charon, Phobos, Deimos, Rhea, Ymir, and Uranus don't. So, I believe it's any of the ones that have astropaths have at least 300. If it has at least 300 people, it has an astropath.
Okay.
So the other ones are smaller, but yeah. And
So our attendant here, who's with us, is uncertain about these armed folks.
yeah, no,
That's the impression I'm
their
getting.
liaison who is driving the boat has just no idea.
Okay.
Do you want me to turn around? I don't know if we have enough fuel. I was counting on them topping her up, but we could turn.
No.
And...
Don't be silly. We're going to this there to see what's like. The problem is we're not scared of them. Gee, we're
If
fast
difficulties
mercenaries.
arise, we do have armed troops. But I'm certain everything will be fine.
And this guy is more and more convinced that he's going to end up in a shootout, and he's just, this was not supposed to, I mean, it's bad enough.
Relax. We are responding to their call for help.
Yeah, there's that. Kind of pulls the boat.
I'm starting to get that Night of the Living Dead scene vibes where the zombies are calling for more cops. Just send more cops. But they can eat them.
Yeah. Kind of pulls up. pulls a range radio out and is like, Neptune Algae Station, this is the Norwegian repair boat requesting permission to dock. Over. Permission granted. They don't mind the soldiers. They're, well, don't mind the soldiers. Over. And he just kind of looks at you and is like, okay. So kind of pulls up.
That wasn't a strange answer.
Hops off to, cuts the engines, hops down, grabs the rope, and throws it over the... There's a bolt set to the dock has these little... there's a technical term for them, essentially, but they're kind of on the edge of the dock, and then you kind of tie the boat to them.
Sure.
The moorings?
Yes, that's the technical... Yes, the moorings. So, yeah, there are moorings that get tied on, and you are essentially fully on board. And
I'll ask the chainsaw guy to assist Cutter if he needs help going across.
Yeah, Cutter walks a little bit faster than usual, perhaps getting off the boat.
Yeah.
On the dry land.
Yep.
Right.
And,
solid earth.
Well, docks are... They're well grounded. But they are also... You're keenly aware of the water lapping just, like, below them. You can hear it. Yeah.
Is this a wooden dock, or is this
Slats are wooden, but you can see that there have been... actually, no, they probably wouldn't have bothered with wood. No, it's all metal.
Oh, okay.
It's
so
like
he should feel reasonably safe.
Yeah, it's all there's no trees on this planet, so wood is an expensive luxury. But yeah, it's metal grating, and something lightweight like aluminum, and then tethered to poles that are drilled into the ocean, the floor, probably weighted down with yeah, it's definitely moored to the ocean floor as opposed to floating on the surface, kind of. So it is a little... It's not like one of those ones that kind of floats, because, that it's designed to float. They're definitely more solidly attached down at the bottom. But...
Okay, so... who are we supposed to get a hold of on this island?
It didn't specify. It just said, "Please come."
I'm looking at the boat captain.
Well,
Like, when you come here and need to do stuff, who would you talk to?
The head of maintenance is who I usually talk to.
That sounds like a perfect place to start.
Okay.
What's her name? That is in that direction.
Kind of, and the soldiers they've turned to look at you, but they haven't made an aggressive move. They're training the weapons on you, but they're not moving closer.
Okay.
Haven't said anything.
Training the weapons like they're shouldering them?
They're, yeah, they're, yeah, they are. I would say it's hip firing. Bad idea with the bigger ones, right? They're las rifles, so they're not gonna hip fire rifles. More, it's brought up to chest height. Aimed out. Yeah, no, it's not up. It's more chest height. So, rather than up higher, but so a little lower than ideal firing position. But
That's
How far away
still
are
pretty
they?
aggressive.
yeah. They're on the edges, so about 5 meters away.
Oh, so they're really close.
Yeah,
Right?
they're just in
Okay,
a
so
lot
we-
of.
Johan will look at him and give him his roguish smile and say, "Ladies, gentlemen, we are here at the behest of the Emperor as his servants. We're here to aid whatever ails this." And he looks around like a little dismissively station.
And roll a. Okay, hang on a second. Roll a fellowship.
Okay. What is my fellowship? Let's see. Oh, she's my awesome 33. Okay, let's see how
Oh.
this goes.
Yeah, you're
Hey,
being
better
very.
than mine.
Yeah, you're being very. Well, yeah, you're being very cavalier for someone with only a 33 fellowship. But all right.
Yeah.
That's not why the captain hired him.
That's true.
No. That's also in my 94 rule is probably why I ended up on a rogue trader ship.
Yeah. They narrow their eyes at you.
You there, worthless servants of the Emperor.
Yeah, I think they picked up on your scorn.
Yes. Let me
I think you might have
see.
spit on him a little bit there too.
Yep, that's Elwyn Keynes has also 33. Okay, that's Jezebel.
Don't tell me I'm the most charming out of all of you.
Hang on.
There's a
I'm gonna
good
see.
chance.
Stevenson. We got. Oh
You
wow!
definitely-
No, yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't have anyone with any
21.
good. You don't have any fellowship people.
That's hilarious. My fellowship is 53.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Nice.
yeah.
Hey.
No, you're like chill and personable.
So the Adeptus Mechanicus is the most charming. of this
Well, I mean,
entire
you've got natural like you
my
know.
bedside manner.
Yes, you have a good bedside manner.
I'm a cheerful person. I have a sunny outlook.
Exactly.
Except when I'm on boats, apparently.
Well, yes, the boats tend to bring out the worst in people, apparently. But yeah,
So that digital cadence is just soothing.
Wow.
yeah,
Sometimes I read stories to people.
yeah. No, it's
Well,
chill.
in Johan's defense, the lack of pastries is souring his mood quite a bit.
Yeah,
He's been
sure.
grumpy ever since. He's angry.
All right. Yeah. So you guys.
Someone get him a Snickers, please.
I mean, you have the tasty algae bars.
Yeah, I'm not eating algae as a snack.
We could do the whole Snickers thing of like, Johan, you're not yourself until you've eaten. But this is Johan. This is what he's like all the time.
Do that.
There's that. Yeah. All right. So yes, you guys are. Eventually, your liaison does kind of get a radio, and they do bring out this kind of bare, huge, like broad-shouldered, just like wrestling could probably suplex any of you. Just walks out, like wearing a jumpsuit, with the tool belt and just. Oh, you're here. Okay. You. Uh-huh. Kind of looks at you. You're the. Glance up. Right. Why don't we come. Not out on the docks? Just,
That sounds like an excellent suggestion.
Yeah. And you also notice.
Perhaps we should go somewhere else, like a bakery, for instance.
Kind of gives you
Just
like a
naming
look.
random places, but out of sight.
Kind of looks. I mean. Kind of shakes his head. And you notice he's wearing a mask. Very much a surgical mask. You should probably
By what
mask up.
by what designation would you like to be identified, technician?
Desig, I'm Tay, chief mechanic. I guess but like, yeah, just chief mechanic Tay is good. Do you
Chief
want?
Mechanic A?
Yes. You're. You're a machines cult. The Omnisaya, right?
Indeed, I do come in the name of the Omnissiah. I am of the Adeptus Mechanica.
We've
My
heard.
name is Cutter, Magos Cutter.
Magos Cutter. Welcome. This is good. Here, take. Kind of holds out a box. Take one of these. It'll help. I think.
And what is this?
A mask.
I will not require it, but certainly my companions who are burdened with flesh will require them.
Probably a wise move. Just you don't want to catch the spots.
I understand my implants usually protect me from they filter me from contaminants.
And you can see Dr. Well, not Dr. Keynes is already masking up, but also kind of looking. These are good. You did good with these. N95 plus filters. These are really good. The built-in HEPA filters. This is good stuff. Okay, everyone take one. Kind of all of you. Take one if you can get it. Just take one, everyone.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And you said this disease is respiratory, past, rather than, and you can see kind of pulling out a notebook. She's taking notes. You said this is a respiratory. The spots you called it, yes? Yeah, spots. We had you get these sores. They're pimples, but they're painful, and we thought that was what it was because it started with the kids, you know. They started getting it first, so we just kind of assumed it was. Then the fainting started. That's the second stage. You get the spots, and then the fainting, and then the puking, and then we've had 4 die so far.
Wait. So you're saying that this thing has evolved to this point, and the best response to the government you could give was send help because it was recommended?
Oh, yeah, no. Kind of glances at the soldiers. We have reasons that we're not directly reaching out to.
So who are these? Never mind. Let's go inside like
Right,
we were going
right.
to.
Come on. Kind of lead you up to this maintenance platform. So there's a tunnel that kind of leads up, and then there's an inside, and you can kind of see there's this scaffolding. There's a ramp that goes up into a curling one around the kind of going up the tank, and then but you can see all these buildings bolted haphazardly on. Some of them attached to this curling path. Some of them don't. And then you have like this area that's about 2 meters, maybe 2.5 meters across, around, so not even 10 feet, between the slimy algae and these buildings, and it's basically with this framework of scaffolding with various ladders and stuff. And kind of get here, come with me, and kind of lead you up a ladder, and you're walking along this very narrow, rickety, 10 feet, so it's not super narrow, but you can't really walk two by two, with this wall of just slimy green algae that you can't even see the outside from in here, and this haphazard buildings pushing up against it on the other, sometimes with gaps, sometimes they go all the way down. Like there's certain parts where you can see the ocean down below. It's claustrophobic, and then you get to this one big building that has a open a bigger door and kind of ushers you in. Okay, that is not good. Hopefully it's not ghosts.
Can you elaborate?
Okay. Hopefully
But
it's not
before we
ghosts.
start, Nick, are you able to tell if that the psyker present is over listening or just listening into our conversation here?
That would be okay. I'm trying to think if that would be a psychic power that someone would have. The ability divination. I think I would say yes. If you rolled a senescence test, you would be able to tell if someone was using a divination power to look over. If you wanted to.
Okay. Let's give it a go. No. No, that fails.
Okay, so you can't get a good read. It's intensive, and the smell of the seaweed is like, yes, it's very salty and it's a lot but for you you have a better sense of smell than usual, and it's a lot, and just the like this is not where you're supposed to be.
Like brain shrimp everywhere.
Yeah, essentially.
All right, sorry about that. It's just the paranoid.
But yeah.
So, just the paranoia in me, making sure that we're
Yeah.
not being listened to.
You
Yeah.
are our intelligence. It is your responsibility for our security.
Yeah. And Tay kind of comes in, brings you into the maintenance bay, and you can see these little drone things that probably act as couriers. Kind of sighs and says, okay, so we got the spots about 3 weeks ago. It's mostly we mostly tamp down on who gets it. But the problem is you can get it again. It's not as bad the second time, and not as bad the third after that, but it's still not great. I only got it twice, and it's ugh.
So it is curable? I mean, is it?
Curable? No, we haven't figured out anything like that. You just kind of ride it out, and problem is you need someone to stick with you and make sure you get the fluids that you don't, and then they get it, and usually.
Well, fortunately, we have someone with us. We don't have to worry about getting it.
Yeah, you'll probably be okay. The
Yes,
masks.
I eagerly anticipate examining some of your victims.
Sure. We've only had 4 die so far, and they're kind of who you'd expect to die.
Have you been able to keep their bodies from decomposing?
Well, we kind of dumped them into the ocean.
That's not very helpful for scientific discovery.
Well, we weren't thinking about scientific discovery. We were thinking.
It also doesn't seem particularly helpful for quarantine if the bodies are just left off into the broader world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we sunk them, and so they're down in the bottom of the ocean, and.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean whatever they have might not transfer over to fish or whatever. Wildlife.
Don't think that's how things work, right? Kind of turns to.
Well, given the circumstances, it's understandable. It's a form of isolation, I suppose. Have you had any? What have been your results as far as administering medication?
Well, we don't have any medication to. I mean, we haven't gotten any supply shipments in. We've cut off we have basically just our well, those guys showed up, and they don't get it. I haven't seen one of those guys get a single case.
They showed up.
Yeah. Well, it was about 3 months back. They're special guests of our the head of the outpost. He's been acting but one of them, they don't talk to anybody. They don't get sick. They don't talk to anybody.
Do they freely mingle with the populace?
No. I mean, they come to the meals, but they don't say anything. They don't have the masks, and they generally don't. One of them did slip a note to our well, she told me that she got a note. We're trying to keep it on the down low, but she told me because I'm head of maintenance, you know. So we didn't want to have supplies dropped off in case someone got it, and we figured we'd be okay. We mostly have been. There's a couple parts I could use, but
Taking measures to keep this plague from spreading to the mainland.
yeah, it seemed like a good idea.
That is prudent of you.
Yeah, we kept asking our head. He's being weird though. He swore that he swear he's sending in the form. He isn't. I mean, I think we're lucky we have a sender. The kind of astropath. She's well, that's the only reason we can get anything off the island. We don't.
Can you speculate to the nature of the relationship between your astropath and your Elgo's head?
I don't know. They kind of just showed up, and he's being real cagey about him.
Would you say that you, in your personal emotions, would you say that you trust the astropath?
The astropath, yeah. No, I trust her. She's solid.
That is good to know.
She's young though. That's the only thing. She got sent in 4 years ago when the twins were born, and it knocked us over the 300 mark. They got us an astropath, and she's young. I don't think she's even done growing yet. Really. She's young. I mean, not so much now, but even still.
She is relatively inexperienced, certainly in the ways of politics, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, astropaths, I kind of glanced at Finnick.
How young? I mean, she's been soulbound, yes?
Yeah. But I think they shipped her in just after that. I mean, she was definitely less than 15 when they shipped her in, which was just after she got soulbound. So or whatever that's what they call it with the eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. You got that, right?
Well, yes, but it's complicated.
Okay. But you're
In any case, Fennec, I believe you will be best situated to speak with her as a representative of our party.
I can do that.
all right.
Johan, I trust that you are already considering what actions we should take in regards to this outpost head, who does sound to me somewhat suspicious.
Yes, I've already thought of several different plans, depending on where our course leads us. That we should probably lead. We should probably speak to the head and see just how suspicious he is acting.
All right.
I would very much like to have the victims examined. Um, for the time being, I will assign Elowen Keynes to oversee that. And I will assign Nurse Joy to assist her in that while I remain with the rest of you.
Okay.
Thanks.
So
So, are there any people who are currently afflicted by this?
yeah. We usually try to get the families who have people with it. I mean,
Yep. God, just
here.
give us the information, who they are, bring them here so that we can study them.
Maybe we better go to them. Making anyone with the spots go anywhere is kind of cruel.
Better? Are physicians able to still perform their duties at other locations in
Yeah.
an effective manner?
I mean,
We
Crane kind
should be able to remain in communication with them.
Yeah, we got the ear bits, and I mean, I'll go to the patient. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, well, as
not like
long
we
as
have
you
much of
guys
a
are able
setup
to do
here
your
anyway.
job.
Kind of gestures at the maintenance bay that you're in with.
All right. Well,
And if anything truly amiss happens, you may always send Nurse Joy back to find me.
Right. Yeah, I got a Nurse Joy. Yep. Come on. Kind of gestures and follows along. She's going off. So while she's doing that, you're you hear sorry, I'm checking time. Yes. 1 p.m. Okay, yep. Just checking timing. Okay.
Sure.
But yeah, you. So she heads off along with the other medic tech who kind of takes off. The soldiers are kind of like, and it's like Verbain kind of says, should one of them go with? Should one of us go with one of them? Send, I don't know, Nolan or something with them. Just to keep an eye on things. Or
Johan, I suspect I, of course, defer to your expertise in this area.
sending one soldier to protect against a platoon of soldiers would just be a waste of resources.
all right. Let's go see these patients.
You see, how many guards did we see it on our way in?
There were 3.
Oh, I thought I was under the impression there were a lot more than just
there are not
3.
just those 3. There were a bunch, but you only saw 3 of them. But from what Tay is saying, probably more. Other places.
And just being, I mean, if we send one of our team there, that'll be just one guy against who knows how many soldiers. He'll be vastly outnumbered and slaughtered.
Possibly, yes. That's All
It
right.
would be you're better if you have a concentrated force than if you split up your forces all over the place. The only reason I'm sending these our doctors is because we can't have them come to us.
Right. Um, so, um, um, the
So let's
door,
go meet with your what does he call himself?
uh, the head of
Yes.
the outpost,
Yes.
our head,
Yes.
uh, um, Thomas Colgrove.
He doesn't have a title.
Head is the title.
He calls himself head.
Well, head Colgrove.
Okay. Not like the arm or the tail or
Well, I
the
think
hand.
that's
He's
more
the head.
us. We're
Okay.
the hands. I think in the metaphor of a person, head kind of controls everything else, right? So that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, but normally it's a head something like a head
The head of the
administrator
station.
or head.
Station head.
He's the head of the station.
All right, let's go meet this apparently unoriginal title making individual.
We can file a request with the administratum to bestow him with a suitable title.
I think that would be it would do wonders to make this place seem a little bit less backwards.
We're
I'll
not
make a note of it.
backward.
Algae ridden?
I mean, we have to be. We feed the entire planet.
Algae?
Yeah,
The entire planet from this one little station.
Well,
that seems odd.
from 17 of them. But without the stations, we have no algae.
Are
No
you
algae,
sure
no
you're not
food.
feeding them? You're not that the algae isn't infected with this disease?
Well,
Have you checked?
I mean,
That is an interesting question, Johan. It is one of the many things we will need to determine.
we hadn't
The
had any
algae is being
shipments
infected.
out either because we weren't due for a handoff for another end of
Indeed.
the growing.
And as I said before, I commend you for your thinking on that matter. Yeah, there is a possibility that the algae could be contaminated. Obviously, that would be devastating for your economy.
I mean, they usually check it when they come with the pickup, so I kind of guessed they'd check it then, and if it.
But wouldn't it be better to know before you found out that your food source was contaminated?
Well, I mean, I figure if that were the case, they just dump it, wash the ship out, and.
Yes, but you need that algae to feed the planet.
Right, but it's not like we can grow more.
You can start working. Well, if you dump it now, you might be able to grow more.
Yeah, but we'd still have it contaminated because we still got half our people are
Whatever.
sick.
You guys, and your lack of
In any
donuts.
case, that is an analysis that we can undertake.
We were kind of hoping that it didn't spread through algae. We just figured we'd get the
Certainly.
test and then.
Of course, we must maintain a positive attitude.
But only the head can, ask for aid authorization. I think, found a workaround, but for something with you guys. But
I
My
see.
My suspicion is that if there were danger to the algae production that the station head were aware of, this would all have been escalated much more quickly. From the sound of things, it sounds like that may not be the case.
I don't. Our head's kind of a little bit. It started about.
Let's go see for ourselves.
We can go see for ourselves, though. I will ask one question on the way. Technician, would you say, in your opinion, that your station head is... You have spoken questioningly of the station head's behavior. Would you characterize it as dishonest, or would you characterize it as mentally unstable?
Mentally I don't know about dishonest. Neat. it's sort of like he started acting differently. So, not mentally unstable. Like, you talk to him and he seems fine, but then he just doesn't do a lot of the things. Like, he said he was gonna request aid, and then you find out he didn't.
Is there any chance he's been corrupted?
Well, he's got something going on, but it's hard to pin down what, and with everyone getting
we'll
sick.
have to personally determine whether it is mere incompetence or, as Johann suggests, corruption by chaos.
I don't know.
It is all right. You do not need to know. We will determine.
Okay. Come with me. Kind of leads you up and kind of points off, leads you back in, to a kind of staircase junction, and then stops out halfway up. There's a landing, kind of knocks on one of the doors, and there's a kind of sliver up. AG's sick. We're trying not to have people come in. And he kind of gestures. They brought doctors. Doctors? Like, doctors?
Wait, where are we going? We're heading towards
so he's taking you
the
up.
head, right?
Yeah, he's going to take you up to see the head. But he's stopping halfway up to send your two medical people to see one of Iggy, apparently, who is apparently sick.
Hey, Cutter, is it mechanically hard or to build things like elevators on these platforms? Because it seems like we're doing an awful lot of stair walk.
Simple elevators are exceedingly simple machines.
I mean, you'd have to get
backwards.
I mean,
why are we walking up all these stairs?
I mean,
my calves are killing me.
If you really can't do stairs,
I can do that. I just prefer not to because we live in an advanced technology society.
You can't just replace stairs with. I mean, we have a ramp, so if you can't do stairs, you live on the ramp edge, and then you can just get on the and kind of limited.
Johann, they have a ramp.
I mean,
so why weren't we taking the ramp?
Well, because you can't get up.
Well, that's not a solution, is it?
Well, I mean, you just don't.
Oh my God, you guys!
I took you up to the maintenance bay because it was a better place to talk. We could have gone up the ramp to the, but there would have been others. There's a couple of the soldiers they keep stationed along the ramps, of the
those soldiers.
Yeah, they usually station them all along the ramp. So
right.
It's better to go up into the scaffolds to talk without.
Johann's concerns aside, we will trust your judgment in this matter, Chief Mechanic.
Yeah. This it's a back way into the.
Johann will just get his steps in today.
Yeah. But yeah, you get led up.
As we get led along, I would like to focus a little bit of energy and create a telepathic connection between the three of us, just so we can speak amongst ourselves in privacy if anything kind of starts going
sideways.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you have that psychic power, so yes, you could probably create a little three-way. Are you going to loop in? You also have a bunch of extra soldiers. Are you going to loop them in too, or?
Okay, so is it just the three of us and then the four gunners?
You have, because you had Dr. Keynes and Andre Colton break off. So you have.
They left. Okay, so.
So yeah, you have the three of you, plus Sergeant Fairbank, and then three soldiers. One of whom has a rifle. The other two, one has a flamer and one has a
chain axe.
Yes. Yeah. So you have
yes. If they're coming with us, I will link them in too.
Yep. Okay. All right. So you're getting this nice little neural net of minds that can.
So there's just a bit of like a crackling, like the back of your mind. Hello? You hear me?
I hear you. I hear you just fine.
You don't need to speak with your mouth to
Yes,
respond.
sorry about that. I'm not used to this.
I hear you, Fennec. This is remarkable.
Oh, right.
And
In case
when Cutter speaks with his mental voice, you hear the voice that he was born with rather than his Vox synthesizer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's what happens when you the mental. But yeah, the kind of glance over his shoulder when Johann says something. I hope you can hear. This way up. It's kind of narrow. So this is the back way up to the main staging hallway, and there's a bunch of the soldiers hanging around. So I don't know how that's gonna go, but it's the only way to. You have to go to through the main staging hallway before you can get to the head's office, and he never. I don't know if he's left his office, and barely at this point. He's in there. I think he's sleeping in there.
Can we confirm that he's physically all right as well? Has anyone seen
presumably-
him?
Presumably he's had meals delivered to him.
Well, yeah, he has his assistant. I mean, she hadn't gotten it either. I don't think. Now that I think on it.
I see.
This is painting this is creating a pattern.
So yeah, you guys kind of end up, and he kind of points. Okay, so that's the main staging hallway. That door kind of points down, leads up from the ramp to here, and then through the main staging hallway is. If we keep going any further along the hallway, the guards, they're going to see these soldiers.
Is that a problem? We are welcome, aren't we?
Well, kind of points to your liaison who's been tagging along looking horrified at the whole idea gotten involved in this whole mess. You were... I don't know. Aya sent for you on account of... But I don't know the head. He swore he was going to send for aid, so if aid shows up, he can't say anything bad, but...
It seems reasonably clear to me that this station head has been deliberately kept out of the loop in regards to summoning our help.
Definitely seems that way.
He swore up and down he'd send for help, though. So... And then we found out he didn't.
So where did these soldiers come from again?
Well, they showed up on a ship. A patrol boat that left. They got dumped.
Did they bring any forms? Did they bring any of the requisite paper?
They had...
See, it's a paperwork adventure, I told you.
They had a letter that they delivered to the head. They kind of showed up. I was up on... There was a problem with one of the back scaffold, so I was fixing that at the time.
Sure, but I mean, you guys you guys file these records away, don't you? I'm sure they.
Yeah, well, usually
the head doesn't just keep such forms in his pocket.
I mean, they're log. We have a log record of the boat showing up, and
well, you'd have a manifest showing that the crew where they're from.
Usually, the captain of the boat, like when I logged you guys in, I put him as the captain because he's the maintenance, and then made a note that it was you make a note of anyone else of import on the ship usually, so, and anyone who comes ashore, well, onto the station, you get you make a note, but
would they also have reported their point of origin? Where they're coming from?
I mean, usually you just trust the captain. I mean, we don't get a lot of ships you don't know are coming. Usually supply
Understood.
runs, so you put a supply run and,
But
I understand.
is this planet is responsible for feeding many people, right?
Well, I'm feeding just us. The water as a whole separate thing. If you get water on and off, the big tanks, they keep much more detailed records. Us, we're just feeding the populace here. So the only boats we get are from the mainland. Like I don't think I've ever had a boat that didn't come from there. Occasionally you get one from the other station and you note it down, but they're all interplanetary, repair craft or supply boats or, the skulls that come to take the algae.
I will
Provincial matters.
mentally ask my two companions. So, do you think these mercenaries are, I mean, not mercenaries, but these guards are actual Imperial troops, or do you think that they're part of that rogue trader?
Are we communicating psychically right now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's either, but I almost wonder, is it possible that all of them are infected and just don't show symptoms?
I'm of the opinion at this point that this plague may be manufactured, perhaps by an interest associated with the station head. If these soldiers have managed to avoid becoming infected,
They
I suspect
have,
foul play.
But to what end? I mean, it makes me wonder what this station could be hiding that would be more valuable than what it already has, that you would want to make all these people sick.
At this point, it's too early to tell, but I think my suspicion is that there is some correlation between the presence of the representative of a rival rogue trader over the planet and the appearance of this plague. I just haven't established what connection that might be yet, but I suspect it may be related to the local economics.
Just an aside, if things are going to turn sour, would it be prudent to leave our liaison back at the boat to refuel and have everything prepped to leave in case we need to go in a hurry?
Can't we, using that relic or some other source, teleport back to the ship?
We can teleport back to the ship with the teleportarium if necessary. I would consider that a last resort, as I do not care to show weakness at this point. It would not reflect well on the lady captain.
Oh, we wouldn't be leaving permanently. We'd be coming back with the ship.
Oh, certainly. I don't want to present the appearance of weakness. We, after all, do represent the authority of the Imperium, to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
we have a reputation to uphold.
Exactly.
Yes, but reputations are meaningless if you're dead.
I would beg to differ. The omniscient witnesses our sacrifices.
It'll take more than a few thugs to outwit us, I think, but fair enough.
I have faith in your abilities, Johan.
I appreciate that. So,
At least they don't have any ogrins with them.
Yes, or servitors.
Yes, quite.
Right, well, let's go say hi. And I think maybe just going to direct approach. If you think that we need to impress them with our might, or at least our, the worthiness of our captain, we shouldn't be afraid to approach through the front door, going into the side door.
A reminder of our rightful authority might be useful to instill some, perhaps to panic them to make mistakes.
Exactly. Now, and I would also suggest hyping up any abnormalities that you gentlemen may have to instill fear of these for anyone who may.
Can you clarify?
Well, I mean, not I would recommend hiding. Like you don't need to hide your tail and and maybe perhaps Cutter could have his extra arm
Huh.
perform
Intriguing.
functions just to remind them that we are not a normal group of people from the capital.
I have no problems with this. Are you comfortable with this idea, Fennec?
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Then let us be on our way.
All right.
Remind these non-pastry having backwater people who's really in charge here.
They'll regret the day they didn't have donuts for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so okay, I'd say I unfurl my extra arm basically and just sort of let it sort of drift around.
All right. Are we? You guys kind of glance back. You do want to go out, right?
Out?
Do you want me to introduce you?
Yes.
Yes.
Please do continue.
All right. Here we go. And he kind of walks forward, leads you out into the main hallway, and you notice that they're about 5 soldiers kind of set up, 2 on at the end of these double doors, and 3 others just kind of in the hallway. Just there. Here's an interesting, Johan. You've seen soldiers and how these guys are definitely looser. This isn't a disciplinary thing. Yes, it's discipline, but they're looser and
they're more mercenaries than Imperial.
they've
troops.
seen more combat. They've probably actually, they're a little looser and in their, which means they're not as strict on discipline, and A, they're not as strict on discipline, and B, they're very much fluid, loose. No one's, keeping careful track of discipline, but also these guys are ready to jump into combat and at a moment's notice.
I will pass this information to my mentally linked companions that, gentlemen, these aren't your typical Imperial soldiers or inexperienced bodyguards who stand around at government doors never having seen action. These guys look like they've seen combat, but they're also not official troops.
Duly noted.
So be careful.
They do seem a bit more menacing than the troops we saw on the mainland.
What?
Do you think it's worth trying to test them? See what their allegiances lie?
I don't think that's wise yet. I think we should see. Let's see if we can just pretend like we don't know what they are, and that they're expected to do what we think that they're supposed to do.
How close
Very well.
are you
Pretend
walking
ignorance.
to these guards?
Well, we're just going through a straight line through the door to where we need to go. To us, where I'm trying to get as I guess I'm in the front with whoever's leading the way, and I'm trying to give off an air of I'm supposed to be here. I have the authority to be here. This is not an unnatural action by us.
Roll up perception check.
Okay.
That all of us or just him?
Oh, well, I made it.
Okay.
Because I rolled a 5. So
Yeah.
I perceive.
So
nice.
you notice 2 of them are just look bored, like they're just standing around here, like they're ready for action at any moment, but they're definitely not. The other is trying to put on the affective looking bored, but as you pass and you're between him and the other 2, you notice he kind of makes a little gesture with his hands, like here I can show you, like this, but he has his hand by his hip. Hang on, I don't know if it, like kind of has his hand, like a gesture like that.
Your hand is kind of cut off in the.
It's kind of like
So
like that.
I couldn't see it. So would Johan know? what that gesture meant?
Yes. Um, uh, it's more of a keep going gesture, but more to the point, he's specifically, it's more, it's basically a hand signal like keep going, but more to the point is that he's making it while, he's trying to make it specifically so you see it and the other two don't.
Oh, okay. We'll raise an eyebrow, and I'll keep going.
All right. And get to the double doors, and the chief maintenance guy just knocks. And they're open. It's opened by a pretty middle-aged woman, wearing her hair down, long hair down in a braid behind her back. The head is in. If you would. Oh, you brought help, like you promised you'd send for. And you notice that she's not masked. Neither are the soldiers.
Okay.
But, oh, yes, them. Help that he promised. Yes, he did promise. Help has arrived from the mainland. That is. Come in. Yeah, come in.
Rejoice, for the Omnissiah has favored you this day. We come on behalf of Lady Captain, very unhelmed of the Expectus Primus. We received a request for aid.
A request for aid from who?
Are you not aware of this request for aid?
No, usually they would have sent something through central office. We sent well, the head said that he sent a couple of requests to the central office, and I mean, I don't know if he actually did. She kind of lowers her voice, but we should have been receiving aid from central office.
Can we see? I'm gonna peek. Can I see past her?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
She'll
behind her?
let you into the office, and you can kind of see. There's just a cot, and two soldiers flanking behind this desk, and there's a human man, fairly average looking, darker skin, but kind of just some guy. Had no augmetics, no uniform, just kind of feet up on the desk, looking kind of bored almost. Kind of sits up. Hey there, welcome to the to my office. Kind of looks blinking. That's unexpected. Come in.
Yeah, I'm gonna send a message to the group. Brother, would you be willing to introduce us on behalf of the captain to this gentleman and make it clear that the guards are not needed for the discussion we're about to have with him, as it is above their security clearance?
Absolutely. I will see if I can prevail upon him to dismiss them from our immediate presence.
Hail and well met, station head. Your prayers have been answered. We have arrived to render aid on behalf of our Emperor. If we may enter, perhaps we can discuss the situation. Your security will not be required, as I suspect we will be discussing matters of some security clearance.
Um. Kind of turns. I mean, security clearance. I mean, I don't
We
have
will
much
be
of that.
We will be discussing sensitive matters, and it is not our desire that a panic should be spread.
Well, okay, I guess. Kind of looked at them.
Excellent.
Um. Kind of. Yeah, you guys. Kind of choose them out. Sure. So, I mean, they're very good. Good friends. They're not. You know.
We're not basing our security clearances upon friendships. That's not how that works.
Understand that as well. You're not. You said, are you from Administratum or?
First things first, I am in Kurosawa. You may have heard of my family.
Yeah.
I am a Magos, of course. You may call me Cutter if you like. And how should I designate you?
Head Callgrove, but the point on that
Head
front is
Cosgrove?
Callgrove.
Cosgrove.
But the you are sent by the Majos biologists, I'm guessing.
We are representatives of Rogue Trader Lady Captain Varian Helmsol. We have arrived as a result of being hailed with a request for aid. We were instructed that you had experienced an outbreak of plague upon your island, and so Lady Captain has seen fit to send us as delegates to assess the situation and see, evaluate what response is merited.
Well,
we do understand that the production of algae and fresh water may be adversely affected by the spread of a plague, and we would not wish for your local economics to be troubled. So, of course, restoring order is our first priority.
I wouldn't say plague. I mean, there's been some minor, sicknesses, but people get sick all the
But
time.
it does seem to be a recurring situation. I understand that the victims of this illness have repeatedly fallen ill.
I mean, yeah, but that's how things go sometimes. I mean, Anna hasn't caught it. And he kind of gestures to his assistant, who kind of shrugs. I guess I'm just immune? And I haven't caught
That
it.
is curious. That is curious, and it is a matter that we would like to investigate. Speaking of which, if I might be so bold, and I apologize for any violations of personal space, but if I might be allowed to take personal cellular samples from each of you for analysis in our medical evaluation.
Sure.
I understand
suppose.
it is an irritation as a fellow member of the aristocracy. We must
I
sometimes
wouldn't
endure these little indignities.
consider myself a member of the aristocracy. I mean, I had the position of power, but I grew up from I heard of the Kurosawa family, but I wasn't any big family like that. I just kind
Oh, I
of...
see. My understanding was that you inherited this role?
No. I mean, my grandpa was head of Terra for a while, and he was head of Terra, so he sent us to the mainland to study. But Terra, the station, not Terra. Terra.
Oh, I see. Not Holy Terra.
No.
I see.
No, but we come from a powerful family on the island, but on the planet, but and
I see. Forgive me my misunderstanding. I had assumed that you were a member of the aristocracy.
No.
I see that is not the case.
Nah, not officially. I mean, my grandpa
Very well
said
then.
his great grandfather was on the down, but bastard child. Not.
I understand. I am not particularly interested in the intricacies of your lineage, but I wish to establish that our credentials, so that I could be assured that we would be allowed free reign to investigate this situation of critical importance to your local economy.
Yeah.
After all, we would not want your production to be hindered. But
Nah, the algae.
slowdowns are. Well, certainly, you must feed the local populace, must you not?
Yeah. I mean, we do. We have a good chunk of the algae goes out, but we haven't had a problem with making quotas. I mean, we haven't had the skull come, but
That's excellent. I'm glad to hear it. And I hope that it is our intention to ensure that situation continues, that your production is not negatively affected. We are here for the best interest of all.
yeah.
And of course, for the greater glory of the Imperium.
Well, obviously. And you notice, Finnick, roll a
Yes.
perception check.
Okay. Let me check this here real quick. Oh, that's good. That's a failure.
Oops.
I mean, he's talking sense. He doesn't seem to be particularly uncooperative, which, based on what you've heard, is unusual. But he does not seem particularly uncooperative.
So what you're saying is that you don't think that this malady that is affecting your population is serious important.
No, I mean,
And yet someone sent a message out asking us to help because this was of serious import. So where is the disconnect here?
I don't know where this message came from.
Because we have seen your quarantined patients. If people are quarantined, that's normally a sign that this is a serious outbreak, not the sniffles or a cold.
Well, I mean, we haven't had any supply ships go out because our head of maintenance said it was a bad idea, and I listened to our
Do you
chief
trust your head of
maintenance.
maintenance?
Hey, yeah. He said it was a bad idea to send ships out, so we didn't.
And why did he think it was a bad idea to send ships out?
I don't know. He said,
You don't think it's perhaps connected to this malady?
yeah, he said it was just probably in the best interest of health not to send anyone out.
So do you think that maybe perhaps if your head of maintenance thinks it's a bad idea to send stuff out, that perhaps you should have more of a keen interest in looking into what's going on?
I suppose. I think
And that
things are
you
going.
that you now have a bunch of soldiers that would not normally be at a place like this
Oh,
arrive. Was it a coincidence?
what soldiers? Your soldiers. You brought the soldiers.
The ones out on your docks.
Oh, they're not soldiers. They're just they're
what?
friends.
Yeah, I have friends, but they don't. Well, I was going to say they don't carry around guns, but they do. That's a bad example. But they are not friends. These are more than just friends.
No,
What is a real relation?
they're
No,
they're my friends.
well, I mean, right now I'm asking nicely, or I could have my astropath here sear your brain to a crisp, getting the information out.
They're not important. They're not anyone's problem. They're just staying here. They're friends. They're not. I don't know why you're so.
It's
You don't
starting
have-
to look more like that. He wants it the hard way, is the way it sounds.
I don't want trouble. I just don't understand why you keep asking about them. They're just friends.
They're just friends
Hey,
who stand at attention outside with.
I mean,
heavy
they
weapons.
hang around. They like hanging around. I don't
Phoenix,
question what they're
can you-
doing.
Can you see if his mind is being affected by thought control or something like that? Does that affect something that would alter his thoughts?
Give me a moment. I'll see what I can do.
All right, you're gonna try for a probe. Okay, let's see. Let me bring up the majiggy what's it with the thingamabob so I can actually figure out. Nope, not that one. This one.
Technical
I'm
speaking.
looking here.
R.
So I believe I need to make actually 2 different checks. One to cast in the first place, and then
Yeah.
another as the opposed test.
Yes. Let me. bring up
Well,
the
if
thing.
you end up having to make an opposed test, you've answered our question. Because if someone's opposing you, that means someone's trying to control him. Right?
No, I mean me. I would have to do that.
But yeah,
Basically,
that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you're having to do an opposed check
against him.
against him, wouldn't that mean that so he's if the guy he doesn't if the guy has like a person affecting his thoughts, he wouldn't necessarily fight him on it, would he?
If he had someone affecting his thoughts, he would be fighting them, and you're fighting.
Well, what I'm saying is that Phoenix can check to see if there's a if there's a struggle going on between the two of them, if he's fighting someone, and if he has to have a struggle as well, right? I don't know if I'm being clear on this or not.
No, I see what you mean.
You're
But
saying, like, as I attempt the probe, essentially whether I'm able to break through or not, I might still be able to glean whether or not there's a battle taking place.
exactly, you'd be able to see the other.
Yeah.
Another presence,
Yes.
so to speak.
Yes. So he makes. All right. Let me. Psychics always okay. So are you start with are you are you gonna fettered, unfettered, or push?
I was gonna go ahead at unfettered.
Okay.
So first I gotta do the check to see if this will go through. 29, that's a 9.
Yes.
So that should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I need to oppose versus him, yes?
Yes, the psychic again. Let me see. The mind probe, right, requires what is mind? Okay, yeah, and you don't get a psychic phenomenon because you didn't get doubles. You're good. Special power, mental telepathy, astral telepathy, mental bond. You have mental link. That's where you're getting all your mind probe. Here we go. Opposed willpower. Okay, 1 meter per psychic rating, psi rating. So you're right next to him. It's fine. Okay, let's see if we can't find a matched set of these for this one. Okay, he's gonna get the flint dice. Okay. Yeah, he's getting the flint dice. All right, here we go. And okay. We might have to, because of, well, okay, let's first, oppose willpower test is, what's his willpower? Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Okay. Let's say 1 degree of success. How much,
He beats me.
Okay. So you, but yes, you can't get suffer one level fatigue for every degree of failure.
Okay, that would be 2.
Yeah.
Because it's basically what I had minus what, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would take 2 levels of fatigue.
All right. So you fall back. There's definitely something else in there though.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely some weird, like, it's not quite pure on his own thoughts.
Okay, so I kind of wince and, like, shrug back a bit and telepathically tell the rest, no, there's something else there. He's being affected.
Yeah, you guys could roll a scrutiny test if you want.
What does the scrutiny test do?
Scrutiny is, I believe, a perception, and it's generally reading minor body languages and such of the sort.
I think scrutiny isn't by default a trained skill. So, like, it would be, okay, yeah, it's perception, but, like, if you're not trained, it's a basic skill, so it'd be, you'd have to beat half of your statistic.
Yeah.
Half of the statistic. Okay, well, I definitely did not succeed.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
well, I rolled a 13, so
Hey, nice.
got something.
Yo!
oh,
Did I get anything
At least one
from
of us
that?
did. Awesome.
yeah. So you've done some reading of body languages before. You know how
I saw
people
you
operate. This
Looking
guy,
at me, looking at you, looking at me.
you see, this guy seems incredibly genuine. And you've seen this. It's more of a level of denialism than actual malice. Like, he genuinely thinks these guys are friends and he just doesn't get why you're so weird about these having these soldiers around, essentially.
I relayed to the other guys this information, and yeah, I'm betting that whatever force is in his mind is making it so that he thinks that they're his friends, and he generally believes that they're his friends.
Seems
Now,
consistent.
Carter, are you able? How long does it take for you to analyze your samples that you took?
Once I actually take the sample, I don't believe it should take very long, I think.
I just want to rule out the possibility that it is a technological reason that he's having these thoughts and not a psychic or demonic.
Yeah. If you take blood samples, it will tell you this. There is an antibody. A vaccine-produced antibody. There's a standard array of vaccines that pretty much anyone on any Imperial planet that has any pull gets. HIV, COVID, measles, they still get MMRs. They get lunar space plague is a big one. There's a handful of them that people generally get as a basics. Then there's the planet-specific ones. Every planet has its HPV occasionally. Some planets, different civilized planets have different viruses. Some of them require polio, depending on if it's extant. Some of them require, there's a dozen others.
We got it. So what?
But the one, and as someone who studied the majors biology, you have a fairly list. You have a big list of ones that are known throughout. There's one on here that you have never heard of. It's a vaccine. It's definitely vaccine-produced antibodies. So you've definitely been vaccinated against something that is not on your list of... so either it's hyper-specific to this planet, which... or it's something weird and experimental, because he grew up on this planet. From what he said, he was born on this planet.
In my analyses, I am detecting the presence of a vaccine that is not registered amongst the standard array, so it may be something specific to this world. We will have to test the infected to see if they also have been treated with it. That will let us determine whether it's standard for the planet. But my suspicion at this point is that he has been inoculated against this plague, and I believe that we will probably find the same is true of the soldiers and of his attendant.
Can you tell are you able to analyze the vaccine?
I assume I can. Is that possible, Lee? Is that something I can...
You can... There's only so much you can do with the blood work of someone who's been vaccinated, but you can kind of piece together a little bit.
You can tell... Wouldn't he be able to tell what the vaccine did?
It did normal vaccine things, which is inoculate, and you can get a fairly good overview of what it inoculates you against, but it's It's
Basically just
nothing
producing antibodies to fight this.
exactly. So
if it's a shot version or a food version or a like how it was it would have to be administered.
No, that wouldn't be able to be. You wouldn't be able to tell that necessarily from analyzing someone's blood.
Is the other guy? Is the mechanic guy still with us, or the person who led us up here?
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's kind of just outside the door, but
okay, so I could just go ahead and sample him right now.
Yeah, if absolutely could take a sample of the blood.
Okay, I'll just step aside. I'll basically signal to
Johann, like, one moment, I'll return shortly.
And I'll go over to the mechanic and quickly take a sample, a genetic sample.
Yeah, you take a small sample of the blood. He said, sure, this will help. And you find
it'll help immensely. Thank you.
Yeah, you find naturally occurring antibodies. And there's very subtle differences between the naturally occurring ones and the vaccine ones. But you have the analyzing, you have the built-in Medicaid tech to know this. But
right.
Yeah, he has naturally occurring antibodies from the same illness.
Okay.
Now, Head, would you be a dear and call in one of your friends? One of them.
Sure.
One of them.
I suppose. I think, is it really necessary? It seems...
I would not ask you to do unnecessary things. I'm here under the auspices of the Emperor. We do not deal in trivialities.
Of course. And, yeah, so he brings in, and... Yeah.
I say in the private chat to my friends, how did that sound, Cutter? Did I sound anything like you when I said that?
Yes, excellent bedside manner. Well done. I've analyzed the genetic material of the head mechanic, and it looks like he has naturally developed antibodies to the same illness, but the vaccine is not present, as far as I'm able to determine.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. What do you? Anyone want to put a wager on whether or not this guard has his quote unquote friend has the vaccine?
That's
yeah.
I'd put my last pistol on that he does have vaccine antibodies.
I wouldn't bet against it.
Yeah. In fact, he does come in, and as soon as you take the blood sample, he's suspicious.
My extra arm.
Yeah. He does have, he's wearing carapace armor, and it can be removed to get a blood sample, but he is... he removes one of the gauntlets and lets you take it on the finger.
My apologies, friend. This is standard procedure. We need to analyze
all right.
in order to deal with this illness.
Yeah. And you notice out of the corner of his eye him pull kind of... He has they have grenades. And he's kind of pulling the pin on one of them.
I would not recommend doing that, sir, or I may have to put a bolt through your forehead.
He's gonna drop straight out the door. Boom. He's gonna drop it and run.
Okay,
Does he drop it with or without the pin?
Without the pin.
I'm kicking the grenade towards him.
Okay.
In the general direction that he's running, I'm going to soccer style.
I think, given the way we have to end, I'm going to have to end the session, so I wanted to end it on like a intensive note.
On a bang?
Yes.
On a bang!
Yes. Okay, let me take careful notes on exactly... So. Yeah, because we had a hard deadline, I know, so...
I think as my final action, then, as this becomes apparent, this grenade has just been dropped, is I will use my body to shield the astropath
okay.
from the blast.
All right.
Oh,
Protection of resources and all that,
Yep.
I suppose that doctor do no harm.
Yes. Blood sample. So he.
No, I don't think it's very friendly for this guy to drop a grenade right in front of his companion.
Um.
For them being such good friends.
Mm-hmm. That's not very friendly at all.
Only real friends share grenades.
he was giving a gift. You're gonna
Actually,
scoff at
though,
a gift?
there is a chemical agent in his blood.
Oh.
The grenade does not look well. It's hard to say, but you do notice a weird chemical agent in his blood that's some sort of intensive stimulant. But
Like would I recognize it as some sort of like a combat drug or?
oh yeah.
Do those things have a time limit? I mean, or are they just persistent?
Well, I imagine
It's yeah, you remember kind of seeing him click something in his gauntlet right before you took the blood sample.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
he
so he took,
basically
like, a-
ghosted himself right when I.
Yeah,
Yes.
he gave himself like hit a slot or something.
Yes. What that means, you're not sure, but
I know what it means. It means he knew what was up and what was going
oh
to
yeah,
happen.
he realized that you
unlike-
guys were bad news, and he's trying to come up with something crazy. But yes, this
And
is
he would have
how
gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those.
meddling rogue traders
Yep.
and their
Mechanism.
stupid dog. Sorry.
Literally, yes.
Yeah, well, very smart dog. But yes.
Talking dog.
Yes. But yes, you guys are very yeah, things are going swimmingly well.
Wait, for us or for you?
Yes.
That's an important distinction.
Yes.
Standard deployment. Locals attempt to kill us. It's nothing new.
Well, these guys aren't
That
locals.
seems to be a common theme.
That's true. These guys aren't locals. You're right.
Yeah.
Point taken.
All right. So, yeah, rogue traders do tend to get into some rough scrapes because they have when you have license to do anything.
Tends to make people nervous.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
Yeah. But
That's why Johan's here.
Exactly.
yeah,
to do
that's
my
right.
football for my football style kicks.
Sorry. But yes. So, we are ending on a bit of a cliffhanger, and the other one, okay, August. I'm trying to think about August, because October's gonna be a trans hard, then September's gonna be clear. So, sometime in August or September, we're gonna have another one of these. If we're gonna see if we prioritize getting you through to make it, and if we can find other people to make it, maybe I can get you some backup.
That would be great.
Yes. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, thank you all for coming. And everyone we have watching, we had a handful of fun people on and off, so I'm sure at least some people. And I will put this up on YouTube. And if any of you have objections with that, you actually probably should have told me sooner, because I already put the other 2 episodes on.
No, it's fine with me.
Okay.
hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you guys want any last words for the friend, I'm Lee. This is my channel. Come back if you liked what you saw. We have Devin, aka Mystery Cycle. and Sigland, and then we have Celiax, new friend, first time on the channel. I think you did absolutely awesome. And
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was great having you with us. It was fun.
Friendly tip from Celiax. Don't do chaos, kids. Chaos is bad.
that is pretty solid. If there's anything you guys want to shout out, you can put it in the chat. I know you have commission websites and you have the Patreon. If you want to put links to that in the chat.
Oh, I thought you didn't you that you already did that?
No, I was about to.
Oh, okay. Well,
Hang on. Give me a second to get it set up, and I'm working on that.
Thanks, Biggie. Appreciate the. Yeah, maybe next time we'll get Biggie in to play with us. He can play something.
Oh yeah, we have other rogue traders. Let's see, last on the list.
All right. You guys all have a good one.
Yep.
I've got to take off.
Yes.
Peace.
Yeah, have a great day.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Biggie, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for running this today. This is a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing this character in this setting.
Yeah. Thanks for being. There we go. I got that, and I know you have you do. You have a commission website, right? Or an artist portfolio that you have, because I know you're a.
I have an artist portfolio. I'll put it in Discord here so you can link it if you like.
Okay.
I am a freelance illustrator. I do sometimes take commissions. I'm on ArtStation under the name Devin Parker. I just put my link in there if you want to put that in that for me, Lee.
Sure. Copy link. Yep. So I will actually. I'm gonna put to see if I can make both of you having. I meant to do the Alfheim one first, and then I should do you too because you're good.
Well, you did it right.
Oh, thank you.
What I love about our characters too is how they fit our knowledge of the world. Like Devin comes across as super knowledgeable and an expert at what he's talking about, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Johan not being familiar with certain things makes it easy for me to jump in with exposition for anybody who might not be,
True.
who might not be as familiar with the setting. So
That's
it's
true.
fun. I love it.
So,
As you know, Johan.
What did you use for your voice modulator? Was there anything?
There's a program called Voice Mod, and it's free. Though they do offer like a subscription service, and they often offer samples. And one of the voices I was using is called Genius. It's a sample voice.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
I use it for when I run my D&D games. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I
Yeah, we look forward to doing this again at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna send off the Biggie.
Oh
uses
yeah,
it too.
that's right. Biggie, BP Gaming RPG.
Yes.
He runs a game for us at night.
Yes.
And
Which
in
is
fact, Lee and I are part of a
yes. We're gonna
his
go on
campaign at
tonight
night.
and be Burnhild
Nice.
the Amethyst. All right. We have. Thank you to the small number of people we have watching. Always appreciate it. And
Well,
I
we
should
had
have.
like we actually have more than it looked like because we had people cycling in and out.
That's true
You know,
too.
but, like we didn't have like a large group at one time, but we've had, five. Like for a long time, we had 5 or 6 that just kept,
Popping in and out.
person
Yeah.
would leave, another person will come in.
Pretty cool. Yeah. I
Yeah.
probably should have advertised better. That is the main problem. That people know we were live, but that's a goal for next time. But you guys are both awesome, and hopefully next time will be better about timing. All right, I'm gonna sign off, all of us.
Excellent.
Thank you, Twitch. All right, and yep,
Yeah, you see it? Did you see Biggie? He said
yeah, promoted tonight. Well, true, but bye everyone.